Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and in this video we're going to be going over how to do Orb 8 on the Felcycle secret, the Rat's Revenge secret. This will get us caught up on my channel to the current progress, as you know, Orb 9 is the one being worked on right now. So Orb 8. Orb 8, luckily we don't really need anything special. We don't need to go anywhere. It's the first one of these. It was a very hard one though, and we will go over how it was figured out real quick. Luckily, as well, this is more of a puzzle one, kind of like the Warden's one was. And there are websites, and just like the Warden's one, I'm sure that the websites for these will get even better and better as time goes on, and how to solve it will get easier and easier as time goes on. But I'm just going to give you the one that I used for now. And so if someday there's a much easier way to do it, I'll try to pin that comment or something like that, right, in the future. So for this step, we're going to be using this Enigma machine, okay? So with the Shaman Blood and the Warden Mirror, when you click on it, you should be able to interact with this and combine them or do something. There should be an option with a chat bubble or whatever to do something, okay? Then you can now have an option to start the sequence and then submit, okay? So when you start the sequence, what you'll notice is, and you may have noticed these things throughout the dungeon, we haven't used them yet, these pressure plates are going to be kind of lit up now. You may have also noticed throughout this dungeon or this instance that these statues are movable. So as you might have guessed if you've played a lot of video games before, we're going to move these statues to the pressure plates, but we need to know why and how to do that, okay? So there is a clue here on the thing. It hasn't worked in 20 years. 20 is an important number. 20 is the number that if you don't understand how it works, it's fine. You can just follow the chart. But 20 is the modifier that starts over the sequence, basically. This is kind of like a math puzzle in some ways. And so what you'll notice is so you started the sequence. Now, if you click submit, we're going to have rats spawn. So we have these catacombs rats. You might want to put on your critter nameplates or whatever if they're not already on. Catacombs rats are already in here. We want to kill these. Okay. Now you also want to be not in any kind of passive AoE cleave spec, no trinkets that AoE. Take off those kind of talents. Take off trinkets that cleave. You don't want any of that. When you click submit the very first time, on your machine, regular rats will spawn. So these say catacombs rat, they will just say rat by itself. They have different spawn points. I don't know if I know all of them off the top of my head, but I'll try to show you where the spawn points are. So one spawn point is over here. One spawn point is in this room. I do encourage you to go inside the room to check. I mentioned in another video, but the way I do it is as I target the crystal out here on the outside of the room and I set focus to it, and then I use my Relic of Crystal Connections to go inside by clicking on the crystal inside, and then when I want to get out, I just click on the one that I have focused. So you have to go in there for check for rats, because rats can spawn in there. Then there's multiple different spawn points in the Felcycle room, so they can spawn like in the middle. Sometimes there's one like over here in this corner, and then they can spawn by the vault door as well. So that's another place where these rats can spawn, and each time you do this, you need to check everywhere, because you need to be counting these rats, okay? So you go through, there can be one down here at the bottom of the stairs. I believe there can be one here in the water. There can be one here. One of these corners can have it. It might be this corner. This is the hardest one because multiple can spawn in there and they can be hard to see how many there are. One can spawn in this room for sure. I never got one to spawn in the red button room, but you should probably still check it, you know, just to be sure. You check that for rats. Again, the regular rats. And then there can be spawns over here. And then there can be spawns down here at the bottom. There were no spawns up the stairs at all, from what I could tell, and I never even checked up the stairs. As you count them, you want to kill them. Why? You don't want to count them twice. And two, because when the rats walk on the plates, they light them up. There was a clue hinting at this. That was found in one of the journals in the dungeon, saying like the rats have taken well to the statues, basically implying that the rats and the statues have something in common, and the rats can activate the pressure plate. So that's why you want to kill the rats. These catacombs rats will respawn slowly over time, and you'll have to keep killing them. The regular rats will just spawn while you're doing the sequence. Real quick, let's talk about how this puzzle was figured out before we just go to the chart. The way this was figured out is some people noticed that the rats were spawning, and very, wisely were like, okay, this has something to do. I'm spawning rats. It has to have something to do with this. Without any other prior knowledge, they just decided to start trying stuff. So they would write down what happened. So let's say they found 7 rats that spawned, and then they put one statue on this and see if it worked. Let's say it didn't work. Okay, so then whatever. Now to do this as well though, they also numbered the plates. So they just started north to south. You'll see it on the image. Don't worry, the image will describe a lot more. I'm just doing my best to explain so that way you at least have some logic to it. So this was plate 1. It's the most northern plate. This was plate 2, the next most northern plate, and they just went north to south, numbering the plates. However, that is not the intended way to do it. The intended way to do it is from this Enigma machine. If you look at it like a clock face, right? 1 o'clock would be up there. If you can see my little pointer on the mini map, that's where the first plate is. 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock is over there in that room, and then, or right here, I guess would be 3 o'clock. And then, or is there one in this room? Oh yeah, there's one in this room. That's it. 3 o'clock. Then 4 o'clock would be that one we were just on, and then below us there's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 7 o'clock. That's how you were supposed to do it, but that's not. So they did just get lucky, essentially, but it was still great work by them. Like, it's not taking anything away from them, but they still figured it out. Figured out the hard part, in my opinion, which was the rats. So let's say 1 rat spawns. Okay, I searched the entire dungeon, and there was 1 of those rats that spawned. Who cares? It doesn't matter where it spawned. There's just 1 rat. This is my first lock. So that 1 rat times first lock, 1 times 1 is 1. So what I would need to do is I would need to put 1 statue on the first pressure plate, which is this one in this room. So I would drag, let's say, this statue all the way into here and set it on the pressure plate. It'll light up, I think blue is for 1. I believe green is 2. And like yellow or gold is 3, and you might need up to 3 statues on 1 plate. So that's just kind of how it works. If all that sounds too confusing for you, that's fine. You can just follow the chart, and all you have to do is count rats. If you can count to 10, you can do this. Okay, so let's go ahead and pull up the chart now, and you're gonna have to do 7 locks. So this is one that somebody made. Like I said, there might be better ones. There might even be a better one right now. This is the one that I used, and like I said, these could get improved upon. But at least you can do it with this one. So we can just read the steps here. Again, you click begin on the Enigma machine. This will turn on the plates. Then you click submit. That will spawn the rats. Search the instance diligently for spawn points for rat critters, not catacombs rats, and count them. Kill all critters to make sure they don't mess with your platforms in step 4. That's the rats stepping on the plates. They're calling them platforms. I call them plates. Use the above chart to find which platform and how many statues to place on it. Platform locations noted on the right diagram. For example, 3 on 2 means 3 statues on the platform labeled 2. We need to get this open too so you can see the... let's just make it full screen for a bit. Over here you can see the actual map. So the one in the Felcycle room, like I said, is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you'll need to get a hang of like which one is which. And again, if we go by the whole clock thing, like we were talking about, the Enigma machine is right here. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. It's not perfect, but it basically works out. And so these are the statues. So what you do is for lock 1, so you click submit the very first time you click submit. Let's say you had 3 rats. So number of rats, number 3, okay? And this is the lock 1. 1 on 3 means you need to put 1 statue on the plate marked 3. So this is the one inside. So for this example, this is the one inside this room. So you have to drag the statue close to the room to get it to turn purple so it can pass through. And then while you're holding it, you use your thing to teleport in the room, and you need to put the one statue on the one plate in there. If your first lock you had 3 rats, that is what you would do. You would put 1 on 3. Your second lock, right? First of all, the less rats you have, the better. The easier this is, generally speaking. Now, that's not always the case, because it does reset after you get to 20. That's the modifier 20 thing. But a lot of times it's just better. If you just had 1 rat every time, it's just easy every time. As you can see, just 1 statue on each platform. So on the second one, let's say we had 6 rats. Or let's say we had 10 rats. You had the most rats possible. 10 is the most rats that will spawn. And they can spawn in different locations, like I said. It won't just be... Like, one time I had 4 rats spawn in one location. So 3 on 6 for lock 2. So if you do it correctly, a magnifying glass will pop up over your head. If you get it incorrectly, you'll get zapped. Okay? Now, I'm not sure if you have to do this, but I know it works very well to do it this way. If you get zapped, let's say you just counted the rats wrong. I counted the rats wrong twice. It can happen, right? They spawned in the corner both times, and I couldn't tell if there was 2 or 3, and I counted them wrong. So anyways, now I forget where I was at. But we were doing 3 on 6, 10 rats. Anyways, count the rats. I lost myself there explaining them. And the answer will be 3 on 6. So we'll need 3 statues on platform 6. This is the one downstairs in like the flooded area. Not the first one, but the second one, I guess, from the front of the instance. And you would drag 3 statues over there. Oh, I know what I was saying with each lock. Excuse me, I'm sorry I got distracted there. So when you complete that first lock, a magnifying glass will pop over your head. If you don't, you get zapped. If you want, and the best way I found to do it is if I got zapped, I just went outside and I right clicked on my portrait, and then I just reset all instances. This will put the statues back where they started, and then I come back in here and you just do the same thing. Begin, unlock the plates, submit, spawn your first set of rats. If you mess up, you have to start from the beginning. Just because you unlock one doesn't mean it stays unlocked. So whenever you mess up, you're starting back at lock 1. Okay? So you need to get 7 in a row is kind of the way to look at this. Let's say we get all the way to lock 7. Okay, we're following this chart. We have 7 rats. So we need to do 2 on 2 for lock 7, which means we need to drag 2 statues to the front of the Felcycle room where the green statue kind of spawns at. We would need to put 2 statues on that plate. It would turn green, I believe, with 2 statues. And then, if it wasn't clear, because I don't know if I said it for sure, once the statues are placed, you need to come over here to the machine and click submit. When you click submit, since you killed all those rats, more rats are going to spawn, right? And now you count them again, right? Each time you do it successfully and click submit, instead of getting zapped, more rats are going to spawn for you, right? The rats might spawn even when you get it wrong, but like I said, just go and reset. It's the easiest way to do it. You probably don't have to do it that way, but it's like the easiest way to do it. Any other important things? You get the magnifying glass if you do it right. When you get all 7 right in a row, you'll get a message saying that a great lock has unlocked. First of all, your orb will be lit up here, and then you'll be able to walk into this final room here. So these doors will be shut, and you'll be able to right click and open up these vault doors. That's probably the great lock unlocking. So that'll be a way that you did all 7 right. You'd have the orb, you can open that door, and everything like that. And then this will just say the contraption appears inert. All mechanisms are unlocked. Any other important points on this one? This one's not bad as long as you follow the chart. You just pull the statue over. So this would be 1 statue. You gotta make sure it's on there. It'll light up. If they try not to use the lights. The dev said they try not to focus on the lights in case you were colorblind or whatever. So then, like, if I had to bring over here. Oh, one other important note. This is very important. After you click submit and you get it correct, you need to also take your statues off of their platform. You can't accidentally keep them on and then it's going to be wrong for the next one. Because unless it's the same exact thing, which it could be the same thing, but it's highly unlikely. So what I would do is, so let's say I had to put 2 on this one, 2 on 4, whatever number this one is. I would hit submit, get my magnifying glass over my head, have more rats spawn, and then as I'm going through, and so I'm checking this rat spawn over here, I would just go ahead and pull these off so that way I don't accidentally leave them on there. And I just would do the same run every time. The order you do it in doesn't matter, of course, but I would start at the Enigma machine, submit, get my magnifying glass. I would come over here. I would check this rat spawn over here in this kind of nook. I would then check inside here. Eventually, I started going inside every time just to make sure after I messed up once or twice. I started going inside the room every time. It was annoying, but I did it. Come in here, check these couple rat spawns. One kind of in the center of the room. They can scurry over in the corners. Check over here. These vault doors will be shut. Check over here. And then I would come down, back past the Enigma machine. Obviously, you're keeping count of these rats and killing them. There can be one spawn down here. I believe there could be one spawn like right here. There can be one spawn in here. Or there's a spawn in here. There's a spawn in here. Like I said at the beginning of the video, I would still check the red room, even though I never had any in the red room. Red button room. There's spawns over here. In this nook in this general area. And there's spawns in this area at the bottom of the stairs. So there's no pressure plate in here, so you can always... I always just kind of kept the rage statue just kind of down here in case I needed it at any point. And just I guess another tip is just where are all the statues? You don't have to take... You might have to take... Do you ever have to take any upstairs to downstairs? I believe you might have to take one upstairs. Like, it could happen. So you have the warden one in here, or the nature one in there. You have the guardian one in here. So you have 3 statues down here. And then I think you might only start with 2 upstairs. Let me see. You have the greed. You have the dog. Is there a statue in the room? I can't remember. If there's no statue in here, you may have to like carry one upstairs and then carry it back downstairs. I can't remember. There might be another one in here somewhere. But anyways, it's just take your time. The TLDR is follow this chart, which of course I will link. Count correctly to 10. Take your time counting. That's like the hardest part. Look at the chart. Okay, I'm on lock 3. I had 5 rats. I'm going to put 3 statues on, you know, plate 1, platform 1, whatever. And then I'm going to go back. I'm going to hit submit. And then when I'm counting my rats, I'm going to pull them off the plate. So that way it's not screwing up whatever my next solution is. And I do lock 4, lock 5, lock 6, lock 7, etc. Hopefully I explained this pretty well. I know a lot of people were very confused in the Discord by this. I thought this chart was really good though. For me, it worked really well. The only mistakes were my own. I made mistakes of just counting wrong, right? Anybody can mess up. If you mess up, don't get too down on yourself. Like I messed up twice myself and I had to go outside. I just reset it and I just started back from lock 1. Pretty simple from there. And of course, on the one where I did it, I had 10 rats multiple times. I had to drag 3 statues, I think 2 or 3 times. I had to drag around 3 statues. Whereas on the one, I messed up one on lock 7. And on that one, I had very easy, just one on this, one on this, one on this, one on this. And then I had like a 10 rat one or something on this final one. And I counted the rats wrong. And it was awful. But yep, here's the, again, just this, figure out where this is the Felcycle room. So the very north one, the Felcycle room is number 1. Then you just kind of go down from there. Front of the Felcycle room, Humming Crystal is 3. 4 is in that little nook. 5 is the one closest to the rage statue in the other nook. 6 is in the hallway in the downstairs, and 7 is in the room downstairs. One of the doors open rooms downstairs. I believe where the Moonkin statue's at. So that's where those are. Hopefully I explained everything well enough. If not, I can try to get back to you in comments and stuff like that. But I thought this was really cool. It was a little bit of a brute force, but still. So what happened, and just lastly, I guess last thing I'll say is they once they unlocked a few of the locks, they noticed a pattern, right? And they were able to backwards, like reverse engineer the math and then fill out the rest of the pattern. Like I don't think they literally did every possible thing after a certain point. I think they figured out the math. They backwards engineered the math and then were able to finish making this chart here. So yeah, good luck to everybody on this one. At least you didn't have to buy anything or anything like that. You just had to count some rats at the end of the day. As always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel. Helps me out a lot. Other than that, everybody, have a good one.